I recognize that a boss is not your title at work. It is a title that you get because of who you are. A boss is someone who understands that they can reclaim agency, right? They can reclaim power. You get to set the standard and establish the tone. What does that mean? As a boss, you get to set the standard. We're always innovating in many of our companies, right? We want to step in with new ideas. We're always thinking of ways to make it better. We're always thinking of ways to make sure that we are inclusive, that things are equitable, right? We're always pushing what the new looks like.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. We're just at the top of the hour, so let's go ahead and get started. My name is Vern O'Gara. I'm the events manager here at Open Sesame and the host of today's webinar. For those of you joining us today that are new to Open Sesame, our mission is to develop the world's most productive and admired workforces with the most comprehensive catalog of e-learning courses from the world's top publishers, including several publishers that focus on the transformative content bringing wellness to the workplace. A few housekeeping items to start. We have a lot to cover in the next 45 minutes. First, attendees are automatically muted. If you have a question, please share it with us in the Q&A section. We will be fielding questions throughout, and we'll have time for some Q&A at the end. Next, if we don't get to your question live today, join us on Twitter and LinkedIn using the hashtag LearningUnlocked2021 to continue the conversation. And finally, this session is being recorded and will be emailed to you in the next day or so stay tuned for that. So now let's move on to the session today. It is my privilege to introduce our guests, JC Lambros and Danielle D'Angelo of Jane Do. Former Radio City Rockettes turned business partners, JC and Danielle know firsthand that it takes more than just physical strength to be the most powerful version of yourself. They developed a workout that offers variety and caters to every person, and one that transcends fitness into the other realms of female empowerment. Jane Do is on the quest to create the largest community of the world's most powerful women and Jane Dudes. The ladies will now kick off the session with a short workout, so get your limbs ready to rock and roll. This can be done right where you are, so no need for any workout essentials. After the workout, I will come back to chat with the ladies of Jane Do to learn more about how they navigate through their business and encourage wellness for all. Without further ado, the ladies of Jane Do.
Hello, everybody. My name is JC, and I am the co-founder of Jane Do. My better half, Danielle, will be joining us in just about 5 minutes. We like to say that Jane is every woman, Do is her call to action, and we're on a mission to build the largest community of the most powerful women. And before we start our fireside chat today, we are going to get moving, not only for the energy surge it's going to give us, but also for the endorphin surge. Are you ready? Let's do this. Okay, all you need is a chair and a good sense of humor. There are no excuses. You do not need any other props. I'm not even wearing shoes. All right, so what I want you to do is have a seat in your chair. Place your hands on your abdomen, pull your elbows back, and let your chin look straight forward and begin to exhale, exhale, exhale. So what we're doing now is warming our bodies up from the inside out. All motion originates from the center of your body. If that's not warm, we're not ready to move on. Exhale, exhale. In 4, 3, stand up, sit down. Lift, lower, lift, lower. Now, if you can't move with me this fast, slow down. All that matters is that you're moving. Lift up, lower down, lift, and lower for 8. We're activating your posterior chain. Your hamstrings are working hard. In 4, 3, we're going to add on to this combination, okay? Tap your toe, alternating toe tap to a stand-up situation. Tap, lift, and lower. Tap. Even 5 minutes of movement is good for us. 5 minutes is enough time to get our blood pumping, to vascularize our bodies, and get them ready to get things done. So there's no excuses ever. One more. hold. Stand up, sit down, change legs, hold. And if you're like, nope, that's not the cards today, continue with both legs. Switch again. Stand up, sit down, change and hold. One more. All right, turn around, face into your chair. Take your hands, place them down, extend your legs back. Your hands are right beneath your shoulders, your fingers slightly in, your elbows slightly out. Start to breathe that breath again, that sharp, deep, diaphragmatic exhalation that fires up our core. In 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, downward little doggy, tighten your hips. Up, down, down. We just worked our hamstrings. Now we're stretching them as we actively flow through movement. Again, lift. Burn, how you doing? How you doing? Are you still with me? You didn't go anywhere yet, did you? This is an icebreaker, isn't it? Lift. Lower. One more. Hold your active plank. 8 count, hold right here. Hold for 8. Look forward. 6, 5. Walk your feet towards your ragdoll. Round up for 8, 7, 6. Come to stand behind your chair. Shift your body weight into your back leg. And I'm going to come to a flamingo. Or your heels to your cheek. And now hinge forward with your hips at 45 degrees. Lift and lower. A hydrant position. Lift up. Lower down. Keep going. Up and down. Point your toes because it looks good. Lift up, lower down. What we're working here is the back corner of your cheek. It's called your gluteus medius. Lift, lower, lift, lower. 4 more. 4, 3, go. 2 more. Hinge a little further forward. Flex your foot. Pulse your heel to the ceiling. Lift, lift. Now we're in your gluteus maximus. The underside of your glutes. One of your largest muscle groups. When you work in large muscle groups, you facilitate the most amount of change. You have 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9. Each of them. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Stand up tall. High heels. Rise to your 5-inch heels. Nobody's wearing those anymore, right? Where are we going? Bend your knees and pulse down for 16, 15, 14, 13. Maybe the other side is jealous. Don't wait. Don't worry. We'll get to it. 6 more. We're go. All right, find your flamingo on your opposite side and hide it lower. We're on our second side. Lift, lower, up, and down. Keep going. Lift, lower. So there's no excuses. The only hard part is if you have a rolly chair. In 4, 3, 2, go. 1, flex your foot, pulse your heel to the ceiling. For 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, go. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Stand up, rise to your highest heel. You're on the balls of your feet. My hands don't see my toes. But no, I'm standing on top. And pulse. On my first and second toe, more specifically. For 16, 15, 14, 13. Feel the heat in your thighs. I always like to say the way to your waist is through your thighs. Relax your muscles. 2 more. And 1. All right, team. Shake it out. That was 5 minutes. You could do that 5 times, right? But I hope that your heart is pumping and you're ready for some really great conversation. We're so excited to be here today. And now I can invite my business partner, Danny, back. Woo!
You guys just saw more of me than I ever care to share with anyone. Big booty, big booty.
All right, ladies, thank you so much for that. I know I'm feeling super energized after that workout. I'm hoping everyone else is. I'm sure they are. Yeah, so thank you so much for that. We're feeling really good, and let's dive right into this chat. Yeah, so just to get started. So ladies, I mean, I'd love for you to just kick off by telling the audience a little bit more about yourselves and how you met and how Jane Do began.
Well, to reintroduce ourselves, I'm Danny. This is JC. We are the co-founders of Jane Do. JC started the workout by saying it, but Jane is every woman, Do is her call to action, and we are on a mission to build the largest community of the most powerful women.
And Danielle and myself met dancing for the Radio City Rockettes, which we did for a combined 17 with like million years. We fused our passion for dance, our love for fitness, and created Jane Do, a brand built on a purpose.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for that. And so as we mentioned before, we were chatting about this, let's dive into your 4 pillars philosophy that you guys base your company on. We would love to know what they are and how you came up with them and why they're so important to you both.
Yeah, so at Jane Do, we think that it takes a multiple things to create the most confident version of yourself. So we created these 4 pillars that we like to hit in order for us to be the strongest and most confident in not just what we do inside the studio, but also outside the studio, right? Because finding your strength inside the studio isn't where it really counts. It's how you translate that outside into the real world. So we found physical confidence, emotional confidence, sexual confidence, and emotional confidence.
Financial confidence.
I'm sorry, financial. Physical, financial, emotional, and sexual.
Awesome. Yeah. So would you mind just kind of diving into those 4 pillars, just kind of like read it, like, just going through, each aspect of those?
Yeah, so the physical pillar is obvious. The physical pillar we hit through our workouts. And we know the most important thing to sustaining that pillar is being able to schedule your workouts, have an accountability partner. If the workout is fun, you can be more consistent with it. And physical also extends into the nutritional component just a little bit. And we don't talk about diets. We sort of flip the script and we focus on the gains rather than the losses. But when it comes to the physical realm, good fuel in equals good fuel out.
Financial confidence. I mean, who doesn't feel more powerful when you know exactly what's going on with your finances? So at Jane Do, we've been fortunate enough to be surrounded by amazing women and also be able to partner with some amazing, partnerships that we've, cultivated throughout our amazing network. And what we've learned through this is that you can do small things every single day to help save and then to help create wealth beyond that, right? Because everyone is at a different point, just like your workout. Whether you're just getting started or whether you're advanced, we all have somewhere to grow into. So putting tools in your toolbox and educating yourself about your finances is definitely going to help in all aspects of your life.
When it comes to the emotional pillar, what we do at Jane, how we deliver on that pillar and what that pillar means to us is providing women the tools they need to ask for help and receive it. So there's so much power in being able to gain insight from other professionals, from other like-minded women in our community, and through that support, our Janes flourish.
I'm going to also say with emotional and financial is being able to ask for the things that you're owed, like asking for a raise. And in connecting that into sexual confidence, again, finding that confidence within yourself translates into what happens in the bedroom or how you actually feel in your clothes, how you carry yourself, right? Walking into a room, holding your shoulders back, walking into the bedroom, knowing what you want, using your voice, and having the confidence to ask for what you want.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. And then I kind of just wanted to dive into the Jane Dude aspect that you guys have as well, because obviously we have a lot of men that are, in your classes, that a lot of your clientele. Talk to me a little bit more about how you cultivate men into this, into your, your mindset and everything with Jane Do.
Oh yeah, we do not neglect our Jane Dudes. Our Jane Dudes are the men that support our amazing community of powerful women. And I can speak personally. My Jane Dude, Anthony, and Danny's Jane Dude, Tyler, are our biggest supporters. And what happens most often is our Jane's husbands, boyfriends, friends are like, "What the heck is it that you do? What is this thing you're always talking about? You do what? You jump on trampolines? You dance your booties off?" And so most often it's because of the inquisitive nature of it's a mystery to them. That's what brings most of our Jane Dudes in.
What's been so rewarding to us is that we receive so many letters, not from our Janes, but also our Jane Dudes, about how much they have seen the person in their lives transform through the process. right? Again, going back to our pillars, it's not just about physical strength, it's also about the emotional strength.
Right.
So they'll say, I have seen this transformation, not just physically and what's changed as far as, again, that confidence, pulling your shoulders back, walking into a room, or feeling like you can cross the finish line of a marathon or rock that sexy lingerie, but also how it's changed them emotionally and be able to have maybe conversations that they between themselves have not been able to have.
Right. Awesome. Thank you for that. Okay, cool. Moving on. So when it comes to your corporate clientele, what do you find that, they practice the most when they come to your studios? And, is there anything that's practiced more than anything else when it comes to your corporate clientele?
I would say, so at Jane we offer a class variety, and that's in an effort to prevent plateau and prevent boredom. It's also so that there is something for every woman and Jane do. And what we see most often is that because of the variety, there's a lot of consistency. There's options. People aren't going to another studio to access, something new and different. And because of the ever-evolving nature of what we do, we continue to captivate the same people, our corporate clientele over and over. And what's really interesting is that people start with this class we have called Get Lifted. It's our sculpting class. It's less intimidating than, let's say, our Dance Your Booty Off class or our Step It Up, our Tramp Stamp, which is our trampoline cardio. And what we find is that once you have that initial experience, like our 5-minute workout, people start to feel comfortable, and it allows them to progress into other, discomfort zones that they ordinarily may not have tried.
Right.
So what we've seen in our corporate client base, to directly answer your question, is that, people are more consistent than we ever thought, especially through the pandemic and into this new post-pandemic world. We're seeing people really put themselves first. More than ever, people are carving out time because they realize, oh my gosh, this really is the best defense against this thing, our health.
And also people are craving that connectivity. So showing up and being able to be around a like-minded group of people, it is energizing, right? Yes, we all transitions to working out at home, working from home. But as we transition back into these things, it's nice to be surrounded by people because you just work out differently. I mean, listen, we own a gym, and I know during booty camp, I am emptying my dishwasher and putting laundry in because that's my least favorite part. Then when we're doing, our booty against cardio stuff, I'm back in the game. So there's definitely an accountability when someone is sitting right next to you.
Right.
I think when you have that energy right now, it's intoxicating, and you want to continue to do it. We always say the workouts have to be fun, otherwise you're not going to do it.
Right.
So whatever it is, find a workout that you enjoy doing, because that's what's going to keep you consistent, and that's what's going to give you the results that you want.
And one more thing, we have a lot of corporate clients that we travel to. And again, we're finally back to traveling to them, which is super exciting. And the ability to have no excuse to run away because the workout is coming to you has also been, a really,
well, it's efficient, and also because the one thing we don't have is time. So if we're coming to you, then you don't need to take the time to go to your gym. You don't have to pack all your clothes. And JC just gave us a 5-minute workout that can be done anywhere. Most of those can be done, I always say on the airplane, but you can't do some of her leg lifts on the airplane.
you have to go to the galley.
You have to go to the galley. But, just hover on your seat. Just take a little hover, engage your core. Even one of our favorite exercises is the public restroom squat hover. Mm-hmm. I mean, there is no better quad workout than not trying to touch the toilet.
I love it. Actually, I'm kind of branching off of what you were saying before, just about that personal interaction. I mean, many of us attending this webinar now, we're in learning and development, right? So, where we tend to feed off of that personal interaction, while we are teaching in person. So I know a lot of us, I know me for sure, are missing that more than ever right now during this, kind of post-pandemic realm that we're in right now. So I just want to kind of pick your brains. Have you found something in this virtual environment that can help provide some of that energy, with personal interactions? I know that you mentioned a little bit before, but kind of just dive a little bit deeper into, what your, rituals have been.
Yeah, that's a really great question. So normally in class experience, it's a one-sided conversation. You know, and myself, our trainers are sort of talking at our clients.
Right.
And what live stream classes have allowed us to do through our chat feature is give our Janes a voice. And because of that, now more than ever, we know our clients inside out and backwards. We know what they're eating, what they're doing. We know their family. We've gotten to know, their emotional state because we've given them a voice through chat. And it's something that we're trying to figure out how to continue in our in-studio experience as we transition to this new hybrid world and hopefully eventually back in studio.
And our business model is a little different because we are working out while we're having these conversations. But I think for people who it's not built into your business model, having people stand up, sit down, make it a little bit interactive. Everyone do 10 jumping jacks and then we're gonna get back into this meeting. Getting your endorphins going, get your body moving will help start to re-energize everything. And it's something that everyone's doing collectively. So we're all working together in this. Otherwise, you're just sedentary, sitting all day long, and you sort of start to get a little lax in everything you do. And this is also another personal thing, but always keep your Zoom video on because we all get a little distracted when it's off.
Yes, absolutely.
Something that I teach to my fiance who has been working via Zoom, and something that his company has instilled in their employees is the 30-minute rule, where every 30 minutes they stand up and work for 30 minutes, everyone sit down, work for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Sometimes he'll stand on one foot, transition body weight to the next, just to, keep your synapses firing in a greater capacity, which will then keep you more attentive and hopefully and help you remember more. You're like, oh, you told me that was standing on my left foot.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I love this question because I have my own rituals, but I'm sure everyone will appreciate this. Do you have any rituals or practices that you start the day with and end the day with, to set yourself up for success throughout the day?
Yeah, personally, I have a non-negotiable that my fiance and I have coffee together in the morning. It's sometimes 30 minutes I get with him, and sometimes it's the only 5 minutes I get with him, but we both make it a priority to spend that time together.
Mine is a cocktail at night with my husband, and that is non-negotiable.
I love it.
Everything in balance, right? If you're gonna work out, you can have a cocktail. But inside the studio, we definitely do have rituals, and we start every class and end every class with 2 breaths. And it sort of sets the mood, right? And your intention. And the first one is personal. But at the end, we will always give a mantra. And the instructor is the one that's going to deliver this mantra, but it's a reminder to let something good in and release something bad out. Right. So one of our favorites, and I hope there are no kids around, I will try to bleep it, but inhale the good stuff, exhale the bad stuff.
I love it. And then kind of a little bit of shifting gears here. Obviously with Jane Do launching, and you guys have worked so hard on this company, and it's an amazing company. Have you ever experienced failure? And so, can you share that with us and how you overcame that?
Yeah, so to date, Jane Do is still totally self-funded. We were able to successfully open 5 studios in 5 years, and then the pandemic hit, and we're still treading water, but we continue to flourish and succeed. And the reason why we've been able to do so is because we don't have the resources that larger companies have. We are forced to get creative. We don't throw money at a problem. We instead get super creative to solve for it. And also, we can't afford to make a major mistake. And so when we fail, we try to fail as fast as possible, as inexpensively as possible, and pick our scrappy selves up and continue to move forward.
And they say that there's always opportunity throughout any failure. So we hate to even say failure. I mean, there have definitely been some decisions that we have made that didn't work out. So if it doesn't work out, any good business plan is flexible, and you just have to reassess, take what you learn, and move. But as far as using the word failure, I think any time that we have ever disappointed someone on our team, a client, or each other, that is when I think we both will really feel the word failure or disappointment, because that's something that we have then hurt someone else. And for us, that's not okay. And it's never our intention. So also when things like that happen is take ownership, and make sure that you have personally learned something so that you can continue to grow.
Yeah.
I think learning to communicate effectively with each other and with our teams has really helped set us up for greater success. It's been a learning process, but we've sort of mastered what we call the DIFCON. And I think it's a really important tool for everybody to learn because it's helpful in conversation with anybody.
And a DIFCON is a difficult conversation.
Yep.
So here are the rules.
Here are the rules.
Number one, make sure that you schedule a time. So we're never going to have a difficult conversation right here, right now, because then someone feels attacked
And it'll have a reactive
response. So number two, both parties have to know exactly what the conversation is. So what's the topic? What's the time are we having this? Number three, we like to keep it at a neutral location, ideally a bar. One drink and you try to solve the problem by the end.
And number four, or there's five, yeah, number four is honor each other's truths. I think that is such a powerful statement. And I learned it in therapy with an ex-boyfriend. But honor each other's truth, because what she is saying is truly what she believes in, and that's the stance that I have, reversed.
And number five, try to come up with a resolution right then and there. And remember, if both people leave feeling like they've lost a little something, they've also won a little something. So coming up with a resolution, having respect for your business partner, your business, your life partners, your friends is literally the most important thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I totally agree with that. And, branching off of that, we talk about women empowerment. We talk about your Jane Dudes. As you guys know, diversity, equity, and inclusion right now is at the forefront in all of our communities. And so I would love to learn a little bit more about what ways have you championed this in your business, in your social life, and in your community.
Yeah, so with Jane being every woman, it's our role and responsibility to continue to be better, do better, and represent every woman. So it's a continuous effort that we put forth in our marketing endeavor, in our hiring endeavors, and in our day-to-day operations. So we have made it a priority to continue to get creative in how we market our trainer auditions. We used to just put it in this dance outlet called Dance Magazine. Not everybody has access to that. So continuing to get creative in how we approach our potential hires has been a top priority and something that we continue to put a lot of energy towards. On our social media and in our marketing endeavors, we've tried to be far more inclusive. We try to be an inclusive workout. We've always defined ourselves as such, but then sometimes we zoom out, and because we don't have a lot of money to work with, it's Danielle and I featured in a lot of stuff, and that's not a great representation of who Jane is, because if you stepped into one of our classes, you would see the incredible diversity of groups of women coming together for the same cause. It's so powerful, but again, it's not always represented. So in our marketing efforts, we've tried to incorporate our client base to show what people are actually doing and who is actually doing it. We've spent a lot of time, continue to spend a lot of time on articles, educating our Janes and ourselves on, the current issues that continue to evolve and we're faced with every day, and how our Janes can do better, what resources they can go to access the information. And our book club books have been another way that we've been able to, continue to spread awareness on the importance of diversity.
And stay communicating with our amazing community, because they have those also. So using them as sort of, do you feel represented, and asking and having the conversations during our Zoom calls, during our challenges in classes, because they feel strongly and passionately about a lot of things as well.
Totally.
So as a brand, it's our, responsibility to make sure that everyone feels welcome, included, and like they belong at Jane, because they do.
Yeah, and it expands into our merchandise aspect of our business as well. Every size now, from extra small to extra large, because
Jane is every woman.
Right. Oh, I love it. I love that. And then my last question before we get into audience Q&A. So you ladies talk a lot about redefining the word healthy as part of your mission statement. So I would love for you to talk to us about what that means and how you instill this in your community.
Sure. So what we mean by redefining the word healthy is not measuring success by inches or pounds, but instead by taking a measure of success based on how you feel. So
Right.
after your heart pumping 50-minute workout, do you feel accomplished? Does your heart beat in your chest and your endorphins feel like, you could take on the day? Then that's a successful feat. That's what you should focus on, how to use the energy that you just put forth in class to do something amazing with it. To, like Danny said, rock a meeting, take it from the boardroom to the bedroom and beyond, and not get stuck on these, tangible numbers that fluctuate every time you take a sip of water.
And on our Jane Do On Demand app, we actually have a segment called Fueling Myself. And we talk a lot about good fuel in is going to be good energy out. So make sure that you're always fueling yourself with what works for you and for your body, because it's going to be very different for everyone. So what works for JC may not work for me. And I think right now we are in a world where we are in people's lives so intimately.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, when you go back to the emotional health and confidence, that sometimes we judge ourselves or, balance our lives against what other people are doing, instead of taking time really out for us to figure out what works for us, what makes me feel good about myself from the inside out.
Yeah, and I touched upon this really early in our conversation, but by focusing on the gains rather than the losses, you approach wellness in such a different mind frame, right? Instead of focusing on losing weight and losing inches, focus on gaining energy,
And one thing that someone recently told me is, instead of having a list of all the things that you can't have, make a list of all the foods that you can have. Look at all of these amazing options. And actually, JC's sister did this with her kids, and I love this trick. What she does is she takes healthy food options and she makes them really accessible. So already cut up the fruit. Just don't put the whole watermelon in the refrigerator. Make sure it's already cubed and cut up, and then she pulls it right to the front of the refrigerator. The blueberries are washed. There's cantaloupe, there are carrots, so they're all right there. So if you open the fridge and you're starving, the first thing you're gonna do is grab one of those healthy options, because it's right there in front of you and it's very easy to get to.
Yeah. Awesome. And then I actually just thought of one question that'll benefit everyone. So as far as for the small business owners here or everywhere, whatever, what advice do you have for those folks that are trying to kind of break into the wellness category, within their businesses, and kind of, like I said, what advice do you have for them, and kind of, where you start and, how you kind of lift off from there?
Yeah, start with a business plan. I spent a year working on the business plan prior to, introducing the plan to Danielle. We became business partners, quit our jobs 6 weeks later, and the rest is history. But having a business plan that is flexible, that is ever evolving, is the first order of business. Don't go in blind. You have to have a plan.
And have a mindset, right? We live by, there's no substitution for hard work. And even in your business plan, if you have put yourself in a certain role or position, just know you're gonna have to wear all the hats. If we had $1 for every toilet we have plunged,
well, we have painted,
we would be very, very wealthy. So just know, going in with an open mind and saying, you know what, I thought that I was gonna be XYZ. Usually it isn't, but those moments, when things are going wrong, is normally when growth happens, and really enjoying the journey.
And nothing worthwhile ever comes easy, and we all know that.
And it is scary. So we're not going to say that every day. We're like, oh, it's been a piece of cake.
course.
And actually, we've been talking a lot about overcoming your fears and facing your fears. And confidence comes from doing. right? So you have to get out of the comfort zone and trust yourself and take that leap of faith and go for it.
We always say, be a doer, not a sayer.
Right? All these people say, I was gonna, you know what you should do. But it's when you take the action. And the more you do, the more confident you are. And then you continue to move that bar so that's when the growth happens.
Yeah, and I think it can be really overwhelming to somebody wanting to start a business. And the answer of where to start is start somewhere.
Just start.
Pen to paper. Just
Of course. Awesome. Let's move into some audience Q&A here. So we have one question from Miguel. And he is wondering, are your corporate clients seeing a difference in team morale and productivity after bringing fitness into their lifestyles?
Yes, we have heard tremendous feedback from our corporate clients specifically about the productivity of their teams. And I think it's because we're vulnerable when we're working out, and sort of breaking down that barrier with your team allows for a greater sense of confidence amongst each other. And I think that's one of the major benefits to introducing corporate wellness, is because it leads to a really strong team building, outcome.
And like JC was saying, it also gives opportunity for people to then cheer each other on in a different way that they may not have in the past. So because there are vulnerabilities, usually there is laughter after that, which tends to be the icebreaker. And then you see the shift happen. Like, no, you got this. You can hold the plank a little bit longer. Let's do this. And it sort of trickles down, right? And if you can hold the plank for a couple more seconds, what else can you do?
And I think that wellness in the workplace is so important, because if you set the tone at the beginning of your workday, it's going to lead to more productivity throughout your day. You're going to make better choices at lunch that aren't going to leave you lethargic after that 4 o'clock hour. So I think if you start your corporate wellness and introduce it early in the day for your workers, that you will see.
Yeah. Awesome. So Elizabeth is wondering what your content delivery options are. I know that you had mentioned it earlier in the chat, but kind of your live streaming, video access, if you can kind of dive into that.
Yeah, so there's a multitude of ways that you can, Jane, do it. Number one is on our live stream, jane.com/livestream, where you can take classes in time. It's great for accountability. That's where our live chat feature makes the conversation really interesting and exciting, and you get to know the other women in our community.
We recommend ear pods during our classes, just in case you're running little ones around.
It's a very authentic conversation, yes, and it hits on every pillar, if you know what I mean.
No taboo topic is off the table.
That's right.
Love it.
Our JD On-Demand app allows you to work out at your own time. It also allows you access to really great conversations with women in other realms of our pillars. And that's where you can access our nutritional component, you and myself. And then we have our in-studio classes. And you can studios. We are back to 4. We're actually in Charleston, South Carolina right now.
I just saw that. Oh, that's awesome.
We are in Jersey City, Hoboken, and Montclair, New Jersey. And we are relocating our New York City location temporarily to South Carolina, but we'll be back.
Awesome. And then I have one more question. So Mark is wondering, do you have select workouts for your Jane Dudes?
For our Jane Dudes? No. Our workouts are designed with every person in mind, every human in mind.
Right.
And the beauty of our Jane Dudes, being introduced to this type of workout is oftentimes it's not what they're accustomed to. A lot of men work in the sagittal plane because that's what they've been taught in the gym. And when you start to work in the frontal plane, you're like, oh my gosh, these are muscles that I maybe have never moved before. But the workouts are designed with every body in mind.
And also based on your goals, we have something for everyone. So depending on if you want a more cardio-centric class versus a strength training class, we got something for everyone.
I love it, ladies. Thank you so much. And so with that, do we have any final thoughts for our audience?
I think it's important for everybody to remember that to be the most powerful version of yourself, it has to extend beyond the physical realm. You have to be emotionally confident, like we said, financially confident, sexually confident, and fusing all of those pillars.
Ladies, thank you so
really
much for joining us today. It's a pleasure, and we so appreciate your time.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us, Vern.
Ladies, thank you so much for joining us today. It's a pleasure, and we so appreciate your time and insights, and we hope to see you again soon. Thanks again. Thanks to everyone here for joining us for our second mock session of 2021. We have a lot more coming up this month, so be sure to stay tuned for additional sessions every Tuesday and Thursday in June. Next up, this upcoming Tuesday, we have Kevin Oakes, the CEO and co-founder of I4CP, author, and international keynote speaker. Kevin will give us an inside look at cutting-edge new practices that positively impact corporate culture and drive high performance. We'll drop the link in the chat so you can join us. We also want to give a big shout out to all of our incredible sponsors. We are so happy to have you guys supporting this amazing event. And final reminder for everyone, you'll receive today's recording via email, and we hope to see you for more Learning Unlocked. Thank you so much, and take care.
Yeah, we're back to masks optional and mask required.
Yeah, but let's get together. Let's have a drink and do a class or reverse that. Class with a drink.
Yeah.